The coffee mug shattered against the tiled floor like a grenade in the quiet morning, shards flying as Elena's world exploded in slow motion. Sarah's scream pierced the air. "Mom, what the hell does that mean?" While Emily froze, her phone slipping from her fingers, eyes wide with betrayal that cut deeper than any knife. At 47, Elena had finally whispered her truth after decades of silence, but the echo of those words, "I'm gay, and I'm leaving your father," didn't bring liberation. It unleashed a storm that threatened to drown them all. Elena Harper had always been the steady one, the high school English teacher in Willow Creek, Ohio, who quoted Whitman to wide-eyed teens about finding one's barbaric yop in a world that demanded whispers. For 25 years, she'd built a life around Mark, her husband of quiet routines, soccer games, PTA meetings, Sunday barbecues where the grill smoke masked the growing ache in her chest. But lately, the facade had cracked. It started with a glance across the faculty lounge at Lydia, the new art teacher with sun-kissed skin and laughter like wind chimes, her dark curls framing eyes that saw straight through Elena's polite smiles. One shared coffee turned into late-night emails about poetry and paint strokes, then a tentative brush of hands that ignited something Elena had buried since college, when a forbidden kiss with her roommate had ended in tears and a hasty engagement to Mark. That night, after the mug's demise, Elena sank to her knees amid the porcelain wreckage, her daughter's faces a blur of fury and confusion. Sarah, 22 and fresh out of college with her journalism degree clutched like a shield, paced like a caged panther. "You've been lying to us our whole lives. Dad's destroying himself upstairs, and you dropped this bomb?" Emily, 19 and still navigating her freshman year at State University, huddled in the corner booth, tears carving rivers down her freckled cheeks. "We trusted you, Mom. How could you not tell us?" The words clawed at Elena's heart, but she forced herself to stand, her voice steady despite the tremor. "I was scared, girls. Terrified of losing you, of what this town would say. But hiding it was killing me." She reached for Sarah's arm, but her daughter jerked away, storming out the back door into the crisp October chill. Emily followed, whispering, "I need time," before vanishing into her room. Mark's footsteps thudded overhead, heavy with the whiskey he'd drowned in since the divorce papers hit the table 2 weeks ago. Elena was alone again, the kitchen clock ticking like a countdown to oblivion. By dawn the next day, the house felt like a tomb. Elena called in sick to school, her first time in 15 years, and wandered the backyard, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle memories. Willow Creek was the epitome of Midwest normalcy. White picket fences, Friday night lights, churches that preached love but whispered judgment. She'd chosen this life for her girls, trading her dreams for their stability. But now, with the ink dry on the separation agreement, the truth clawed its way out, raw and unrelenting. Her phone buzzed, a text from Lydia. "Thinking of you. Coffee after school? No pressure." Elena's thumb hovered, heart racing. Lydia was 42, divorced herself with a teenage son, her canvas tote bags always spilling with sketchbooks and wildflower stems. Their first real date had been a picnic by the Scioto River, where Lydia's fingers traced Elena's palm, reading her like Braille. "You're a poem waiting to be written," she'd said, and Elena had melted, the walls crumbling under that gaze. But today Elena replied, "Not yet. Storm at home." She pocketed the phone and headed inside, steeling herself for the day ahead. Sarah had crashed on the couch, her laptop open to half-finished articles on family dynamics. Ironic, Elena thought bitterly. Emily emerged from her room, backpack slung over one shoulder, avoiding eye contact. "I'm going to class. Don't wait up." The front door clicked shut, leaving Elena with the silence and a gnawing fear that her confession had fractured the only family she'd known. That afternoon, as Elena graded papers at the kitchen table, the doorbell rang. Mark stood there, disheveled in his flannel shirt, eyes bloodshot. "We need to talk, Elle. For the girls." He stepped inside without invitation, the scent of his aftershave, a ghost from better days, twisting the knife. They sat across from each other, the table a battlefield.
This
Phase, he started, voice cracking. It's the stress of the job, right? Midlife something. We can fix it. Therapy. Elena shook her head, the words she'd rehearsed spilling out. It's not a phase, Mark. It's me. I love you as the father of my children, but I've never been in love with you. Not the way you deserve. His face crumpled, and for a moment, she saw the boy she'd met at 22. Awkward and earnest at a college mixer. The girls hate me now, he muttered. Sarah called me last night, crying. Said you're throwing us away for some woman. The accusation hung heavy, but Elena met his gaze. I'm not throwing anyone away. I'm finally being honest. Mark left with a slammed door, and Elena buried her face in her hands, sobs racking her body. How had one act of courage birthed such chaos? Evening brought a fragile truce. Sarah returned from her shift at the local paper, dropping her keys with a clatter. Dad told me about your friend. The word dripped sarcasm. Elena nodded, choosing vulnerability over defense. Her name's Lydia. She's kind, Sarah. She sees me, the real me. Sarah scoffed, but her eyes softened fractionally. And what about us? Emily's barely eating. She thinks it's her fault, like if she'd been a better daughter. The words gutted Elena. She pulled Sarah into a hug, feeling her daughter's rigid frame yield just enough. None of this is your fault. Ever. They sat like that until Emily texted. Home soon.
Can we talk?
Hope flickered, dim but alive. As night fell, Elena lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. The road ahead was uncharted, court dates, small-town whispers, the tender risk of Lydia's touch. But in that vulnerability, she felt a spark of something fierce, not just survival, but rebirth. Little did she know, the real tempest was brewing in her daughter's hearts, a revelation that would upend everything she'd fought to reclaim. The next week blurred into a haze of avoidance and accusations. School became Elena's sanctuary, where she lost herself in sonnets about forbidden love, her voice cracking on Shakespeare's "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" The students noticed, whispering about Miss Harper's glow-up, oblivious to the war raging beneath. Lydia caught her in the hall one lunch, concern etching her brow. You look like you haven't slept. Elena managed a smile, the first real one in days. Family drama. The ugly kind. They stole a moment in the supply closet, ridiculous, clandestine, like teenagers, where Lydia's lips brushed Elena's temple. I'm here, whenever you're ready. The warmth lingered, a promise amid the storm. But home was a minefield. Sarah had taken to interviewing Elena like a suspect, probing with questions that sliced deep. When did you know? Was it always a lie? Elena answered as best she could, sharing fragments of her youth, the college kiss that haunted her, the marriage proposal accepted out of fear. Emily, quieter, watched from the sidelines, her sketches filling notebooks with fractured family portraits, a mother divided, sisters adrift. One rainy Thursday, the dam broke. Emily burst into the kitchen after a therapy session Elena had insisted on, her voice a whip. The counselor's right, you're selfish. Dad's drinking again, and you're off chasing skirts while we pick up the pieces. The slur hit like ice water, freezing Elena in place. Sarah, overhearing from the stairs, joined in. Yeah, Mom. What about us? Your truth is destroying everything. Elena recoiled, the air thick with their pain. I never meant to hurt you. This is about living authentically for all of us. But the girls stormed off, leaving her with the echo of their slammed doors. That night, alone with a glass of wine, Elena scrolled through old photos, Sarah's first steps, Emily's ballet recital, family vacations where her smile never reached her eyes. Regret warred with resolve. Had she traded one prison for another? Lydia called then, her voice a lifeline. Come over. Please. Elena drove through the downpour to Lydia's cozy bungalow on the edge of town, the kind of place with herb gardens and wind chimes that sang in the gale. They curled on the couch, Lydia's arms a harbor. "Tell me," she murmured, and Elena did, pouring out the accusations, the guilt. Lydia listened, then cupped Elena's face. "You're brave, Elena. Braver than most. Your girls will see that, in time." Their kiss deepened, tentative at first, then hungry. A release of pent-up longing. Lydia's hands mapped Elena's skin like uncharted territory, whispers of beautiful and mine, weaving through the thunder. For those hours, the world narrowed to touch and breath, a romantic interlude that reminded Elena why she'd dared the leap. But dawn brought reality crashing back. A text from Sarah. "Emergency. Dad's in the hospital. Car accident." Heart pounding, Elena raced to the ER in Columbus, Lydia insisting on driving. Mark lay bandaged, a DUI crash that totaled his truck and his pride. The girls flanked his bed, faces pale masks of worry. Sarah's eyes met Elena's, accusations softened by fear. "He was calling you nonstop. Said he couldn't lose the family." Guilt twisted Elena's gut as she took Mark's hand. "I'm here." The doctor assured them it was minor, broken ribs, concussion, but the scare lingered like smoke. In the waiting room, Emily broke first, collapsing into Elena's lap. "I was so mad at you, but seeing him like this, I don't want to lose anyone." Tears flowed freely then, a catharsis in fluorescent light. Sarah joined, her voice muffled. "We don't get it, Mom, but we don't want you gone either." It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but a crack in the ice, enough for light to seep through. As weeks unfolded, the family tiptoed toward normalcy. Mark entered rehab, his calls to Elena shifting from anger to tentative gratitude. "Thanks for showing up. Means something." Elena visited Lydia openly now, their dates walks in the park where hands intertwined without shame. The romance bloomed, picnics with wild strawberries, nights tangled in sheets, Lydia's sketches capturing Elena's laugh lines and liberated gaze. Yet tension simmered with the girls. Sarah's articles veered into investigative pieces on LGBTQ rights, her questions evolving from interrogations to curiosities. "Tell me about your first crush." Emily confessed over ice cream one night. "I think I might like a girl too." From art class. The revelation hung, vulnerable and electric. Elena's heart swelled, pride mingling with her own unearthed fears. "Whoever you love, I'll be here. No hiding." But the real shock came at Thanksgiving, the holiday Elena dreaded most. Mark joined them at the house, sober and subdued, the table laden with turkey and unspoken words. Midway through grace, Sarah cleared her throat.
"Mom,
We've been talking to a counselor together." Emily nodded, fidgeting with her napkin. "We were angry because it felt like you chose her over us. But then we realized you were choosing yourself. And that's scary but kinda badass." Elena blinked back tears, fork paused midair. "What are you saying?" Sarah exchanged a glance with Emily. "We're saying, we support you. And Lydia, invite her next year?" Laughter bubbled up, tentative, then full-throated, dissolving the last barriers. Mark raised his glass, voice gruff. "To new beginnings. All of us." In the days that followed, the world righted itself, piece by piece. Elena and Lydia moved in together by spring, their home a blend of bookshelves and easels, walls alive with color. Sarah landed a job at a progressive paper in Chicago, her first feature on queer families hitting newsstands with a dedication, "For Mom, who taught me truth is the ultimate story." Emily explored her identity with Elena's gentle guidance, their mother-daughter dates filled with coffee and confessions. One evening, as fireflies danced in the backyard, Elena stood with Lydia on the porch, watching Sarah and Emily chase each other with sparklers, laughter echoing like freedom. "You shook our world," Lydia whispered, nuzzling her neck. "But look what rose from the ashes." Elena smiled, the weight lifted, her heart full. In coming out, she'd lost a marriage, but gained a family reborn, honest, fierce, unbreakable. Love, she knew now, wasn't a secret to bury. It was a light to share, illuminating paths none had dared walk before. The winter after that Thanksgiving thawed into a tentative spring, but Elena's journey was far from over. Willow Creek's whispers had evolved from scandal to reluctant acceptance, colleagues nodding knowingly in the staff room, parents at conferences offering awkward but genuine congratulations. Yet beneath the surface calm, Elena wrestled with the ghosts of doubt. Was this happiness real, or just another layer of performance? Lydia sensed it, her artist's intuition sharp as a palette knife. "You're still holding back," she said one night, as they painted the kitchen a bold terracotta, brushes dipping into possibility. Elena paused, ochre streaking her cheek. "It's the girls. They're trying, but I see the strain in Sarah's smiles, the way Emily dodges questions about her crush. I don't want to be the villain in their story." Lydia set down her brush, pulling Elena close, the scent of turpentine mingling with jasmine from her hair. "You're the hero. Give them grace, and yourself." Grace came in unexpected forms. Sarah, ever the journalist, pitched a podcast series on latent life awakenings, interviewing Elena as her first guest. The recording session in their cluttered living room was raw, Elena recounting the mug-smashing morning, the hospital vigil, the ache of unspoken love. "I thought truth would set me free," she admitted, voice thick, "but it chained me to their pain first." Sarah hit stop, eyes glistening. "Mom, that's gold.
And
I'm proud of you." The episode dropped to local buzz, downloads spiking as listeners messaged, "Your story gave me courage." Elena read them aloud to Lydia over breakfast, her cynicism cracking under waves of validation. But Emily's path was rockier. Her art class flirtation with Mia, a bold sophomore with tattoos and a mohawk, ignited sparks, then flames of panic. What if it's just a phase? Emily confessed one afternoon, sprawled on Elena's bed with sketch pads strewn like fallen leaves. Elena sat beside her, tracing the familiar worry lines on her daughter's face, lines she'd worn at 19 herself. Phases pass, but feelings? They reveal. I ignored mine for decades. Don't make my mistake. They talked until dusk, Elena sharing college journals she'd unearthed, yellowed pages confessing a crush on roommate Clara, stolen glances in the dorm shower, a kiss under the quad's oak that tasted of rebellion and regret. "I ran from it," Elena said softly. "Chose safety over self."
but you?
"Chase the light, Em." Emboldened, Emily invited Mia to a campus poetry slam, returning home the next week with a shy grin and a canvas bag of takeout falafel. "She gets me, Mom. Like you and Lydia." The four of them dined on the porch that night, laughter weaving through the meal as Mia's stories of street art clashed delightfully with Lydia's classical training. For the first time, Elena saw her daughter bloom, cheeks flushed, eyes alight. Not in fear, but fierce joy. Meanwhile, Mark's recovery steadied. Rehab turned him inward, his visits to the house now laced with reflection rather than resentment. "I always knew something was off," he admitted one crisp afternoon, raking leaves with Elena while the girls chatted inside. "Blamed myself. But watching you now. You're alive, Elle, really alive." They shared a hug, awkward but healing, the kind that mends fences without erasing scars. Yet drama lurked, as it always does in small towns with big secrets. The school board caught wind of Elena's lifestyle, a parent's complaint sparking a closed-door meeting. Principal Hargrove, a kindly veteran with a mustache like a broom bristle, slid the memo across his desk. "They're pushing for sensitivity training, or worse. Bigot's gonna bigot." Elena's stomach knotted, visions of unemployment flashing like lightning. "I've given this place my soul." Lydia rallied her, organizing a faculty petition that ballooned overnight, signatures from the drama club kid who'd come out last year to the custodian who'd lost a brother to AIDS in the 80s. The board backed down, but the scare left Elena shaken, questioning if Willow Creek could ever truly be home. It was Sarah who turned the tide. Her podcast episode went viral, picked up by a Cleveland station, and suddenly Elena was fielding interview requests. The teacher who taught herself. One headline read, "Reporters arrived with notebooks and empathy, and in the glow of spotlights, Elena found her voice, not just for herself, but for the hidden hearts in every classroom." "Love isn't a choice," she told a local news crew, Lydia's hand steady in hers off camera. "It's a revelation. And every kid deserves to hear that." The backlash came swift. Anonymous letters in her mailbox, graffiti on her car, sinner teacher. Sarah, incensed, traced it to a bitter ex-colleague, her investigative skills uncovering emails laced with hate. The story broke, the harasser fired, and in the fallout, Elena's community stepped up. Neighbors dropping pies with notes of solidarity, students painting rainbows on the school fence. Through it all, her romance with Lydia deepened, a tapestry of quiet intimacies, slow dances in the kitchen to Ella Fitzgerald, weekend getaways to the Hocking Hills where they hiked trails hand in hand, whispering dreams under starlit skies. Lydia proposed one evening by the river, not with a ring but a custom necklace, a silver locket etched with Whitman's line, "I am large, I contain multitudes." "Marry me?" she asked, voice trembling. Elena's yes was a vow, sealing their bond amid fireflies and the river's murmur. But as summer waned, a new shadow fell. Emily's excitement over Mia soured when her girlfriend's conservative parents issued an ultimatum: choose us or her. Emily, torn, drove home unannounced, collapsing into Elena's arms with sobs that shook the foundation. "It's like your story, Mom, but backwards. I love her, but losing my family." Elena held her, heart aching with echoed pain. "You won't lose us. Ever." The family convened that night, Sarah dialing in from Chicago, Mark arriving with takeout and resolve. They talked until midnight, voices overlapping in a symphony of support. Mark sharing his own regrets over silenced emotions, Sarah reading stats on queer youth resilience. "We're your safety net," she said firmly. Emily chose Mia, and the breakup with her parents was brutal, disowned in a tear-streaked phone call. But in the wreckage, she found strength, channeling it into murals that adorned the local Pride Center, bold strokes of color defying the gray. Elena's world, once shattered, now shimmered with hard-won light. Her daughter's reactions, initial fury, gradual grace, hadn't just shocked her. They transformed her, forging a legacy of unapologetic love. As fall leaves turned gold, she stood taller, her story not an end, but an invitation to live loudly, love deeply, and let the yop echo. Autumn's gold deepened into winter's hush, but Elena's life pulsed with a rhythm she'd only dreamed of. The Pride Center mural dedication drew a crowd, townies mingling with activists, Emily's artwork a vibrant testament to resilience, pinks and blues swirling like defiant hearts. Mia stood beside her, arm linked possessively, while Sarah emceed with her reporter's poise, introducing Elena for a keynote. "My mom didn't just come out," Sarah said into the mic, voice steady. "She pulled us all into the light." Elena's speech was unscripted, words flowing like the Scioto after rain. "I was 47 when I chose truth over silence, a teacher's lesson in authenticity. But my daughters taught me the real curriculum. Love isn't solitary. It's shared, messy, miraculous." Applause thundered, but it was Emily's teary hug afterward that anchored her. "You made this possible, Mom." Lydia watched from the sidelines, her smile a beacon, and later, in their bed warmed by flannel sheets, she traced Elena's collarbone. "Your force." Their intimacy had evolved too, less frantic discovery, more sacred knowing, bodies speaking languages of trust. Mornings brought coffee in bed, Lydia sketching Elena's sleep-tousled form, capturing the soft vulnerability of dawn. Mark's presence in their lives stabilized, his rehab sponsor encouraging family outings. A holiday lights drive-through became tradition, the car filled with hot cocoa and bad carols, laughter bridging old chasms. "Never thought I'd say this," Mark grunted one night, handing Elena a wrapped gift, a first-edition Whitman, dog-eared from his attic perch, for the woman who found her voice. She hugged him fiercely, the past forgiven if not forgotten. Sarah's career skyrocketed, her podcast syndicating nationally, episodes featuring voices from rural queers to urban elders. A call from NPR led to a book deal, and she flew home for brainstorming sessions, notebook in hand. Chapter 1's yours, Mom. The hook that hooked me. Elena demurred, but contributed anecdotes. The shattered mug as metaphor for brittle facades, the hospital wait as crucible of empathy. Yet beneath the triumphs, fissures lingered. Lydia's ex, Tom, stirred trouble over custody of their son, Alex, a lanky 15-year-old with his mother's curls and a budding interest in guitar. He needs stability, Tom argued in court, his lawyer eyeing Lydia's new partner with disdain. Elena attended hearings, her teacherly composure cracking under cross-examination. Miss Harper, how does your orientation affect the child's environment? The question ignited her. My orientation teaches Alex love is diverse, not dangerous. That's the environment he thrives in. The judge ruled in Lydia's favor, but the ordeal left scars, Alex withdrawing into headphones, confiding in Elena during a backyard jam session. Kids at school say stuff.
About Mom. About you.
She tuned his guitar, voice gentle. Words are weapons until you wield your own story. Write a song about it. Alex did, debuting it at a school talent show, raw lyrics on belonging that earned a standing ovation. Lydia wept in Elena's arms backstage, whispering, "You saved us." Their wedding planning accelerated then, a small affair in the hills. Wildflowers, acoustic sets, vows exchanged under an arch of woven vines. Sarah officiated, her words poetic. In a world of straight lines, you two carved curves of courage. Emily and Mia designed the invitations. Alex strummed the processional. Mark walked Elena down the aisle, not as father-in-law, but friend, his nod a silent absolution. Post-honeymoon bliss, a cabin retreat where they hiked and made love by crackling fires, brought new challenges. Elena's menopause hit like a freight train, hot flashes in class, moods swinging like pendulums. Am I too old for this? She confided to Lydia one night, sweat dampened and doubting. Lydia's response was a manifesto of adoration, massages with lavender oil, date nights to jazz clubs, a shared journal of gratitudes. Age is just the frame, love. You're the masterpiece. The girls noticed, intervening with a Harper Women Wellness Weekend, a cabin rental stocked with wine, face masks, and therapy workbooks. Sarah facilitated icebreakers. What's one fear you've conquered? Emily shared her coming out to Mia's family, a reconciliation forged over tearful dinners. Elena admitted the wedding jitters, the fear of outliving her joy. Laughter followed, then tears, bonds tightening like roots in fertile soil. Spring heralded growth. Elena's tenure at school secured, a mentorship program for LGBTQ students launched under her name. Sarah's book hit shelves, dedicating it to the women who shattered to shine. Emily transferred to an art conservatory, Mia by her side, their apartment a riot of canvases and cacti. But the deepest drama unfolded in summer's heatwave. A letter arrived from Clara, Elena's college flame, forwarded from an old address. Saw your story online. Always wondered, what if? Enclosed was a photo. Them at 20, arms entwined under that oak, faces alight with unspoken futures. Elena's hands trembled. Ghosts rarely stayed buried. She showed Lydia first, expecting jealousy, but found understanding.
Talk to her.
Closure's a gift. They met at a neutral cafe in Columbus, Clara now a librarian in Pittsburgh, silver-haired and serene. You look happy, Clara said, stirring her tea. I ran too, married a man, had kids. Divorced at 50. Came out last year. Their conversation unspooled decades, regrets, parallel paths, the kiss that changed everything. No rekindling, just healing. You were my first love, Elena said, tears falling. Thank you for that.
Clara squeezed her hand.
And you were mine. Go live it fully. Driving home, Elena blasted Springsteen, windows down, the wind whipping away old shadows. That night, she gathered the family for a bonfire. Mark, the girls, Alex, Mia. Stories circled the flames. Mark's boyhood crushes on farmhands, unspoken. Sarah's high school experiments with a cheerleader. Emily's Mia epiphany during a life drawing class. Elena shared the Clara letter, the firelight dancing on their faces. We all carry secrets, she said. But sharing them? That's the spark. As embers died, Lydia leaned into her. Your world's not just unshaken, it's unbreakable. Elena kissed her, tasting smoke and eternity, her daughter's laughter the soundtrack to a life reclaimed. Summer's bonfire lingered in memory as fall semester beckoned, but Elena's equilibrium faced its fiercest test yet. A student, Jordan, a quiet junior with a buzz cut and a backpack full of dog-eared comics, confided in her after class. Miss Harper, I think I'm
like you.
But my dad's a preacher. He says it's sin. The words echoed Elena's own buried youth, igniting a protective fire. She directed him to the mentorship program, but the encounter stirred unrest. Was her visibility a beacon or a burden? Lydia noticed the distraction, coaxing it out over a harvest dinner of pumpkin soup and crusty bread. You're carrying the world's weight again. Elena sighed, fork tracing patterns in her bowl. Jordan's scared, like I was. What if I can't help? Lydia's eyes softened, her hand covering Elena's. You already are, by being you. The drama escalated when Jordan's father, Reverend Tate, stormed the principal's office, demanding Elena's resignation. She's corrupting our youth with her agenda. The accusations spread like wildfire through parent emails, pitting allies against detractors. Elena faced the board again, this time with Jordan's anonymous letter in hand. Ms. Harper saved me. Don't silence her. The room tensed, votes teetering, until Sarah, tipped off by a school contact, arrived with a camera crew, turning the meeting into a live stream. This isn't about one teacher, she narrated coolly. It's about every kid afraid to be themselves. Public outrage flipped the script. Petitions surged, alumni testimonials flooded in, even Mark testified, voice steady. Elena's the best influence my daughter's ever had. The Reverend backed down, his church fracturing under scrutiny, and Jordan emerged stronger, joining the GSA club with head held high. Elena hugged him in the hall, whispering, Your courage? It's contagious. The victory was bittersweet. Exhaustion settled in Elena's bones, her body protesting with migraines and fatigue. Lydia insisted on a checkup, the diagnosis a wake-up. Early osteoporosis, a legacy of years suppressing stress. Rest or it worsens, the doctor warned. Elena balked, lesson plans loomed. Lydia's gallery show approached, but her family conspired. Emily organized a mom mandate, no grades weekends, yoga with Mia, herbal teas from Sarah's Chicago stash. In the quiet, Elena rediscovered romance's softer edges. Lydia's gallery opening was a triumph. Canvases of intertwined figures, inspired by their love, titled Multitudes Entwined. Elena wandered the space, champagne flute in hand, pride swelling as critics murmured praise. Your muse shines, one said, and Lydia grinned, pulling her into a shadowed corner for a stolen kiss. My everything. But home front ripples persisted. Alex, now 16, grappled with his own identity, confiding in Elena during guitar lessons. I like this guy from band. But what if it's confusing? She shared her menopause musings, how bodies betray, but hearts endure. Confusion's the cocoon, Alex. Butterflies emerge. He nodded, strumming a new riff, and later debuted a duet with his crush at the school dance, the gym erupting in cheers. Sarah's book tour pulled her away, but video calls bridged gaps, her stories of queer icons fueling Elena's fire. One night, post-reading in New York, Sarah FaceTimed teary-eyed. A fan said your story in the book gave her strength to come out at 60. Mom, you're changing lives. Elena brushed off the praise, but inside, validation bloomed like Lydia's wildflowers. Winter holidays brought convergence. Mark hosting a potluck, his new girlfriend, a warm widow from AA, blending seamlessly. Games of charades dissolved into hilarity, Emily and Mia reenacting Elena's mug smash with exaggerated flair. And then, boom! Truth bomb. Laughter healed what lectures couldn't. Yet a curveball struck in January, Lydia's gallbladder flare-up, surgery looming. Elena canceled classes, hovering in the hospital like a sentinel, holding Lydia's hand through anesthesia haze. Promise me adventures post this, Lydia murmured, groggy.
Paris.
The Grand Canyon. Us, gray and glorious. Elena vowed it, her vigil a testament to love's endurance. Recovery was slow, but their bond deepened in the tending, soup simmering, pillows fluffed, whispers in the dark. The girls rotated visits, Sarah reading aloud from her book, Emily sketching Lydia's warrior portrait, Alex serenading with originals. Mark dropped off tools for home fixes, his quiet support a cornerstone. By spring, Lydia was mended, their postponed honeymoon a road trip west. Route 66 echoes, motels with neon signs, nights under desert stars where they made love with the abandon of newlyweds. This is us, Elena breathed, tracing constellations on Lydia's skin. Infinite. Returning, Elena integrated wellness rituals, Pilates classes with Emily, journaling prompts from Sarah. Jordan graduated, his valedictorian speech nodding to teachers who teach us to be true. Elena wept in the audience, Lydia's arm around her. As cherry blossoms fell, Elena reflected. Her daughter's initial shock had been the catalyst, forging not just survival, but a symphony of souls. Romance with Lydia was the melody, family the harmony, kaleidoscopic, resilient, profound. Blossoms gave way to summer's blaze, but Elena's narrative wove onward, threads of joy and jeopardy intertwining. The mentorship program expanded, Elena co-leading workshops with a visiting activist, sessions buzzing with teens sharing stories under rainbow banners. One evening, a participant, a trans girl named Riley with braided hair and a sketchbook of superheroes, stayed late. "You make it seem possible," she said. Elena, packing handouts, felt the weight of legacy. It is. One step, one story. Lydia's art career flourished, commissions rolling in. A mural for the Pride Center, portraits for a queer history exhibit. Their home became a hub. Dinner parties with faculty friends, game nights where Alex's band jammed in the garage. Romance simmered in stolen moments, a midday picnic in the yard, Lydia feeding Elena grapes, their laughter drawing neighborly smiles. Sarah's book climbed bestsellers, prompting a family trip to her launch in D.C., the National Mall alive with tourists, Elena beaming as Sarah signed copies, dedicating one to the Shatterers and Rebuilders. Emily and Mia joined, their engagement announced casually over cupcakes. Rings next year. Sparking hugs and toasts. Mark, along with his partner Joan, raised a glass to love's many chapters. But beneath the celebrations, undercurrents stirred. Elena's osteoporosis progressed, a bone density scan revealing fractures at her spine, tiny cracks from years of emotional load-bearing. "Slow down," the specialist urged, prescribing meds and physio. Elena complied reluctantly, delegating school duties, but frustration gnawed. "I feel like a fragile antique." Lydia countered with creativity. Adaptive yoga poses sketched into date ideas, a bone broth cookbook they co-authored for fun, recipes infused with aphrodisiacs. "Your strength's not in bones," she teased during a massage, thumbs kneading knots. "It's here." Her hand pressed Elena's heart, igniting a slow burn that led to candlelit baths, bodies buoyant in forgiveness. Emily's wedding planning brought levity and logistics. Venue hunts in Ohio's rolling hills, dress fittings where Elena pinned hems, tears blurring her vision. "You'll walk me down the aisle?" Emily asked, vulnerable. "Wouldn't miss it." But Mia's family reconciliation hit snags, old wounds reopening, and Emily leaned on Elena for late-night pep talks. "How'd you forgive Dad?" "Time and truth," Elena advised. "And turkey dinners." The real tempest brewed with Alex. At 17, his romance with bandmate Theo deepened, but Theo's coming out to his military dad ended in enlistment, a desperate escape. Alex spiraled, grades slipping, guitar silent. "He's gone because of me," he confessed to Elena during a porch swing confab. She shared her Clara closure, the pain of paths diverging. Love doesn't own, it empowers. Write him. Let go with grace. Alex did. A letter mailed with a demo track, and Theo's reply came weeks later. "Your words pulled me back. Home soon." Reunion at the airport was cinematic. Hugs amid baggage claim chaos. Lydia snapping photos. Elena watched, chest tight with parallel joys. Sarah, meanwhile, met someone, a sharp-witted editor named Jordan, no relation to the student, their flirtations sparking over manuscript margaritas. "She's intense," Sarah gushed on a call. "Like you and Lydia, electric." Elena chuckled, offering wisdom. Let it unfold. No rushing the plot. Fall brought Emily's wedding, a garden affair under harvest moon, wildflowers nodding in breeze, Mia radiant in lace, Emily's vows a poem of persistence. Elena's aisle walk was steady, arm linked with Mark's, their shared glance a nod to co-parenting's quiet victories. The dance floor pulsed, Sarah twirling Jordan, Alex and Theo slow dancing cheek to cheek, Lydia pulling Elena into a waltz that blurred the crowd. Post-reception, as confetti settled, Elena and Lydia slipped away for a secondary honeymoon, a train to Chicago, Sarah's city, where they wandered Art Institute halls, hands clasped. "Reflect with me," Lydia said before a Hopper painting, lonely figures in lit windows. Elena did. From isolation to this, us unbreakable. Back home, Elena's health rallied with treatment, her teaching adapting to hybrid models, voice booming through screens to reach farther. A school award for advocacy arrived, plaque engraved, for illuminating hidden truths. She displayed it beside Lydia's locket, a talisman of multitudes. Winter whispered of renewal. Families' ski trip to the Smokies, where spills on slopes dissolved into snowball fights, bonds snow-deep. Sarah announced her engagement over mulled wine, Jordan proposing with a typewriter key necklace, for the stories we'll write. As snow fell soft, Elena stood by the cabin window, Lydia's arms around her waist. Her daughter's reactions, once world-shaking, had sculpted a grander vista. Lives intertwined, loves unapologetic, a human tapestry rich with drama and grace. In every fracture, beauty had bloomed. Snow melted into spring's promise, but Elena's tapestry gained new weaves of wonder and worry. Sarah's wedding loomed, a literary-themed affair in a Brooklyn brownstone, bookshelves as backdrops, vows scripted like sonnets. Elena flew east, helping curate the guest list, her input on toasts drawing laughs. "Keep it heartfelt, not Hemingway." Jordan, ever the editor, quipped, "No red pens on love letters." Preparations unearthed family lore. Old letters from Elena's mother, a stoic farm wife who'd hinted at her own unspoken affections in coded postcards. She loved fiercely, quietly. Elena read aloud to Sarah, voice hushed. "Like I almost did." Sarah hugged her. "You love loudly now. That's the legacy." Lydia stayed home, her solo exhibit in Cleveland demanding focus, canvases of fractured light, inspired by Elena's journey. "Go shine with your girl," she urged, kissing Elena goodbye. "I'll be the muse in absentia." The separation, brief as it was, amplified longing. Daily texts laced with innuendo, video calls ending in whispered promises. The wedding weekend was a whirlwind. Rehearsal dinner debates over font choices, bachelorette brunch with mimosas and manifestos on queer joy. Emily and Mia arrived with Alex and Theo, the group swelling to a chosen family chorus. Mark and Joan mingled, his toast surprisingly tender. Sarah, you chase stories like your mom chased truth. May yours be epic. Ceremony day dawned misty, but sun broke through as Sarah walked the aisle, solo, defiant, Jordan waiting with eyes like polished amber. Rings exchanged to applause, then a reception alive with spoken-word performances, guests reciting passages from Sarah's book. Elena danced with her daughters, Emily's head on her shoulder. Weddings make me mushy. Grateful for you. Sarah joined, trio swaying. From shock to this, pure magic. Return to Ohio brought decompression. Elena and Lydia reclaiming routines, their reunion a sparkler of spontaneity. Impromptu road trip to Lake Erie, toes in waves, sunset kisses tasting of salt and forever. Mr. Chaos, Lydia murmured, sand between fingers. But summer's idyll fractured with Mark's diagnosis. Early Parkinson's, a tremor in his hand spilling coffee at a family picnic. It's genetic, he said flatly, Joan's arms steel around him. The news landed like a rogue wave, Elena flashing to hospital vigils past. We'll fight it, she vowed, organizing consults, support groups. The girls rallied, Sarah researching trials in Chicago, Emily designing adaptive art tools, Alex composing playlists for therapy sessions. Elena stepped up as caregiver liaison, her teacher's patience a balm during Mark's frustrated outbursts. I was the villain once, he joked bitterly one afternoon, grip shaky on a puzzle piece. Elena squeezed a shoulder.
Nah.
Just human. Like me. Lydia wove support subtly, meals delivered, art therapy sketches for Mark, portraits capturing his wry smile. Their own romance deepened in the strain, nights where Elena collapsed into Lydia's lap, venting fears. What if I lose him too soon? Lydia's response. Poetry readings by firelight, bodies entwining as antidote. Then we honor him. Fiercely, fully. Autumn tested further. Elena's osteoporosis flared, a fall in the classroom sidelining her for weeks, cracked wrist in a cast, lessons subbed. Frustration boiled. I'm the helper, not the helped. But family flipped scripts. Theo building ramps, Mia cooking anti-inflammatory feasts, Sarah interviewing Elena for a podcast on aging gracefully queer. Recovery coincided with Jordan's promotion, pulling Sarah to LA for a book deal. West Coast calls, she said over goodbye brunch, eyes sparkling. But Ohio's home. Visits promised, her absence a poignant echo of empty nests past. Emily announced a pregnancy, hers and Mia's via donor. Ultrasound photo texted with confetti emojis. Grandma Elena? Get ready. Joy surged, mingled with Elena's menopausal wistfulness. A new chapter, she told Lydia, hand on her belly in imagination. They planned a nursery visit, stocking shelves with board books on diverse families. Winter brought Mark's first big tremor episode, a stumble at Christmas dinner sending ornaments shattering like echoes of old mugs. Panic flared, but they adapted, seated games, voice-activated lights. His gift to Elena, a scrapbook of their years, photos captioned with humor, the good, the bad, the beautifully messy. As snow blanketed Willow Creek, Elena hosted a solstice gathering. Lanterns lit, stories shared around a Yule log. Alex debuted a song for Mark, Steady Hands, Theo harmonizing. Emily read baby names, Mia beaming. Sarah joined virtually, Jordan waving from pixels. Lydia proposed a family vow, through shakes and breaks we hold. Elena's heart, once world-shaken, now thrummed with depth. Daughter's evolutions from reaction to revolution, love's romance a constant verse. In every trial, humanity's value shone, connection over isolation, courage over conformity. The solstice fire's glow lingered into a new year, but Elena's chronicle pressed on, laced with life's inexorable turns. Emily's pregnancy progressed, ultrasounds revealing a girl, Harper women strong. Mia joked at checkups. Elena dove into grandma prep. knitting booties, crooked but earnest, reading up on queer-inclusive parenting. Teach her early, she advised Emily over tea, that love's a spectrum, not a switch. Lydia's exhibit toured, taking her to galleries in Boston and beyond, their long-distance stints bridged by care packages, Elena's annotated poems tucked into paintbrushes. Reunions were electric. Airport dashes into embraces, hotel rooms alive with rediscovery. Distance sharpens desire. Lydia panted one night, fingers mapping familiar curves. Elena laughed, breathless. You're my horizon. Sarah's LA move solidified, her byline gracing national mags, but homesickness tugged, monthly flights home. Jordan tagging along for Ohio charm. This town's got heart, he admitted after a cider mill tour, apple cheeks flushed. Their wedding plans brewed for fall, a bicoastal affair blending Brooklyn grit with Willow Creek warmth. Mark's Parkinson's advanced subtly, meds steadying tremors, but fatigue deepening. Elena coordinated a caregiver co-op with Joan, rotating duties so he retained autonomy, fishing trips with Alex, book club with Elena, irony not lost, discussing her own life story in Sarah's latest. You're still the rock, he told her one dusk, rod casting ripples. Even when I crumble. Spring heralded the baby's arrival. Little Nora, born in a May storm, her cry a thunderclap of promise. Elena held her first, tiny fist clutching her finger, tears blurring hazel eyes mirroring her own. Welcome, warrior, she whispered. Emily, exhausted and elated, squeezed her hand. Your turn to shatter ceilings, Grandma. Mia snapped photos, the room a cocoon of coos and cuddles. Nora's baptism, secular, splashy affair in the backyard, drew the clan, Sarah toasting with sparkling juice, Alex strumming lullabies, Mark steadying his arms for a hold. Lydia gifted a custom mobile, stars and rainbows twirling, whispering to Elena, our legacy expanding. But summer scorched with unforeseen heat. Lydia's mother, estranged for years over her divorce, reached out post-exhibit review. Proud of you, finally, the letter read, laced with regret. Lydia crumpled it, old wounds reopening. Elena mediated gentle outreach, a cafe meet in Neutral, Michigan, where apologies flowed like weak tea. I was wrong, the woman admitted, silver hair framing lined regret. Love you and Alex always did. Reconciliation tentative, but healing, Lydia returned softer, their nights tender with debriefs. Elena's health demanded vigilance, physio sessions building bone, but a scare, dizziness during a school assembly, landed her in urgent care. Dehydration, the doc said, but it prompted family intervention, a vitality vow circle, each pledging support. Sarah's from afar, weekly check-ins. Emily's, meal trains with Nora's purees. Mark's gruff, lean on me, Elle. Fall's foliage framed Sarah's wedding, Central Park Pavilion, guests in autumn hues, vows exchanged under maples aflame. Elena walked Sarah, Mark on her other arm, trio united. Jordan's ring glinted as he promised, edits to our forever. The party spilled into night, fire pits, fiddles, Nora gurgling in a sling. Post-honeymoon glow for Sarah faded into professional snag, a story on conversion therapy camps pitched, but editors balked. Too hot. Furious, she self-published an exposé, going viral amid scandals. Backlash hit. Trolls doxing, threats veiled. Elena flew out, fortressing with fierce mama bear energy. Your voice is your sword. Wield it. Winter wrapped them in quiet. Nora's first snow, chubby hands patting flakes. Alex and Theo plan college, joint applications to Berkeley, dreams harmonizing. Mark's condition stabilized with a new trial, his optimism infectious. Shaky hands, steady heart. As year's end neared, Elena and Lydia escaped to that promised Paris, cobbled streets, sane sunsets, cafes, croissants crumbling under kisses. From Ohio whispers to this, Lydia marveled, Eiffel Tower twinkling. Elena nodded, wind tousling silver strands, shook, stirred, soared. Back home, A holiday hearth gathering, stories swapped, Nora toddling into laps. Elena raised a glass. To reactions that reshape, to love's endless plot. Her daughter's eyes met hers, Sarah's fierce, Emily's tender. From shock to symphony, their worlds weave richer, resonant, redeemed. The Parisian afterglow infused Elena's days with a lingering luminescence, but time's river flowed relentless, carving deeper channels of change. Nora's first birthday bloomed in June. A garden bash with butterfly nets and smash cake, her giggles the soundtrack to Elena's heart. As grandma, Elena savored the role. Bedtime stories of brave women loving boldly, tiny hands in hers during park strolls. "You're her anchor," Emily said, watching Nora chase bubbles. "Like you were for us." Lydia channeled the joy into a children's book series, illustrated tales of families in all colors, dedicated to Nora. Little legacies, she called them, brushstrokes capturing the girls' wide-eyed wonder. Their romance, seasoned now, simmered in domestic poetry, shared sunrises over crosswords, evening walks where hands swung like metronomes of contentment. Sarah's exposé fallout evolved into advocacy gold. Congressional hearings on youth protections, her testimony a clarion call. Jordan supported from the wings, their home a haven of highlighters and home-brewed coffee. Visits home brimmed with updates, a puppy named Quill, plans for their own family via surrogacy. Auntie Elena duties await, Sarah teased, Nora perched on her hip. Mark's trial meds brought plateaus, tremors tamed, enough for a genealogy road trip with Joan, tracing roots to dusty archives. He returned with tales of great-aunts who'd bucked norms, one a flapper rumored to fancy women. Runs in the blood, he winked at Elena, their bond a quiet triumph. Alex and Theo's college send-off was bittersweet, dorm packing parties, tearful airport hugs. "Call anytime," Elena urged, slipping Alex a journal. "For the unsung chords." Their first semester dispatches glowed, gigs in Boston clubs, a pride float design that won awards. Emily's art career ignited, a solo show in Columbus, canvases of motherhood's mosaic, Nora's portrait central, Elena's face woven in threads of gold. Mia curated, their partnership a masterclass in balance. Two moms, one masterpiece, Mia quipped at the opening, Nora clapping from a high chair. But autumn winds carried a gale. Elena's annual scan revealed spinal progression, surgery on the horizon, rods and recovery. "Not now," she protested to the surgeon, calendar mentally crammed. Lydia's resolve was iron. "Now's when we fortify." Family mobilized, Sarah flying in for pre-op pep, Emily handling logistics, Mark sharing his med war stories. The procedure was grueling, hospital haze, pain a persistent hum. Lydia never left her side, reading aloud from their shared journals, vows, vignettes of valor. Post-op, rehab was a family affair, Nora's babble as therapy, Alex's care packages of indie playlists. "You're titanium now," Theo joked during a video check-in. Healing stretched into winter, Elena's mobility aided by a cane. Elegant, carved by Lydia with vines and verses. School adapted with a sabbatical, her virtual classes a bridge to return. In the downtime, she penned a memoir, Shattered Yaps, fragments of her Odyssey, Daughters' Voices guest chapters. Sarah edited, Emily illustrated covers, a mug in mid-shatter, light bursting from cracks. Spring's thaw mirrored renewal, Elena's first unaided steps in the yard, Lydia cheering like a track meet. Nora's wobbly gamma sealed it, toddler arms outstretched. The memoir launch was intimate, living room reading, close concircled. Mark's voice cracked on the foreword, "To the woman who taught me forgiveness starts at home." Sarah's surrogacy journey crested with a positive test, twins en route. "Double trouble, Harper style," she announced, Jordan beaming via Zoom. Emily's second pregnancy followed suit, a boy this time, family expanding like kudzu, roots entwining. Summer solstice circled back, Bonfire Redux, now with grandbabies on blankets, stories layered thicker. Alex debuted a debut album, Theo co-producing, track streamed 1. Echoes of Elena, a ballad of late blooms. As fireflies ignited, Elena leaned into Lydia, silver heads together. From one truth's quake to this chorus. Lydia's kiss was answer enough, soft, sure. Years folded like pages. Nora's school plays, twins' chaotic christenings, Mark's adaptive adventures with Joan. Elena's memoirs sparked a speaking tour, high schools hungry for hope. Daughter's reactions, once seismic, now subterranean strength, worlds not just unshaken, but eternally enriched. In Twilight's embrace, Elena knew, the human spark endures, dramatic, devoted, divinely queer.